Welcome to Combox. I'm in a Rob sandwich in one way or another here, or a Robbie sandwich. I don't know, but I'm the very attractive meat to their very flaccid bread. Here on Combox. Remember, the game lives on, but also we're doing watch-alongs all the way through this IPL. There will be lots of different content, but the watch-alongs are one of the main things that we're doing. So during the game, slap us on, and you can hear all sorts of stories about how Robbie once paid a fine when he didn't have to, and about how Rob Barrett's friend stabbed another friend in the thigh with a fork.
Steak knife.
Steak knife, sorry, it was a steak knife. Yeah. I don't think it was a fork.
Listen,
fork would have
Jared.
been better. To be honest, I lost all sense of feeling at the end of this game because of how one-sided it was, gentlemen. Now we've got a fork. May the fork be with you, Robbie. Yeah, I lost all sense of feeling because this was such a one-sided game. RCB have ended up chasing 201 in the 16th over with 6 wickets in hand. Huge victory. RCB looked pretty good, Robbie.
Yeah, they looked really good. Batting, you always knew was really good and was going to come through. Devdutt Padikkal was out of the top draw today. Virat, as per norm, started off brilliantly. Didn't get a lot of strike in the first 10 overs, first 7 overs, 6 overs, and then eventually got 36, 38 ball, 67. Rob wasn't happy with him in between, with the way he was pacing his innings, but I thought it was okay because they lost 2 wickets in quick time. So, but otherwise, I think their bowling was a little off. They bowled in parts. I thought the first 6 overs were good. The first 5 overs were good. The next 5, 6 were terrible.
If you think about their bowling, the 2 biggest weaknesses are probably like Duffy and for Hazelwood, and Duffy was incredible, and they bowled him out early.
He was really good.
And then the other weakness is Romario, and Romario went for runs but kept taking wickets the whole time, Rob. Right? So no matter how you looked at it, even when they weren't looking good, it kind of still went their way.
Yeah, he's got some sort of voodoo about him, hasn't he, Romario? Because that ball that he got Klassen out, right? He got Klassen when he was 30, which is exactly when you have to get Klassen, or you're going to get utterly spanked. And his first ball was a pie, and it got hit to the rope, and Salt did his best to roll over the rope with it, but didn't quite, and that made a really big difference, didn't it? Verma, he got Verma eventually. That probably saved them 10, but Kohli dropped him 20 runs before that, which caused, it was just a weird first innings, and it didn't feel like enough, and it absolutely was nowhere near. I didn't think it was that short of what they should have got. The bowling was pretty crap, and they got 200, which is exactly what they were in for. And then, there've not been many easier chases. Like, the chase was never in doubt for a second, was it?
No, and it's not often you say that when the other team was on a hat trick at one stage. But they were so far ahead of the game by that point, it didn't matter at all. Devdutt Padikkal, I thought, was brilliant as well, Robbie. I think the way, what I really liked is Padikkal, the way, and even Kohli early on, even though, as you said, he didn't face a lot of balls, the way they struck the ball was beautiful, and they just kind of went for it. Yeah,
they backed themselves, and they actually. What was wonderful to watch was they assessed the wicket, and they knew the wicket's going to. They had to play aggressively to take SRH out of the game, and SRH knew that their bowling wasn't up to scratch, so they were always going to be under pressure and behind the 8 ball, and kind of RCB kind of leaned into that a little bit and just kind of made them pay for it. Devdutt was pretty immaculate today, as in just his innings, the way he played, clean shots, didn't try too hard. Was getting ready early, played some, got into some great positions, and just took the game away from them in the first 6.
Yeah. Rob, you look at the RCB performance, and there are still question marks over them. But if they can bat that way, I don't think you're as worried about some of the bowling issues then.
Not if Padikkal does that. He was the big difference because he's had so many different IPLs, even though he's not played that many. One of them was like all-time bad, where he was strike rate 100 and just couldn't get it off the square. And then he came back and went, right, okay, well, you need me to bash the power play, so that's what I'm going to do. And he did that a bit last year. And then this year he comes in. The thing is, he allows the best chaser of all time, Kohli, to pace it however he wants if he comes in and hits 2 balls straight away, which is what he did. First ball 6, wasn't it? And it's like, all right, that pressure's gone then, that we just lost a wicket. First ball's into the stands. This he was awesome. He played really, really well all round the wicket, picking the ball up very, very early and dispatching every single bad ball, right? Which is, I don't think they did that in the first innings. Like SRH missed a few. Duffy bowled a couple of pies early that they missed. Travis Head missed one on his pads. Abhishek missed one on his pads. That usually they'd be stuffing into the stands. And then they started cramping them for room for a bit. But I think RCB, it's very easy to look at that scorecard and think, wow, they absolutely stuffed them there. Duffy was awesome. There's still loads of question marks on that bowling attack. I want to talk about Krunal, though, because apparently he was practicing. So he had the all-time freak zone season last season for his bowling, getting boatloads of wickets. What did he get? 17 wickets or something?
And he'd never taken that many wickets before.
So
it was ridiculous.
He's clearly spent the last 3 months trying to be Jadav instead and bowling the round arm, looking at the floor nonsense when he doesn't need to. What the hell was that? His first 12 balls, he went for about 28 runs or something, and it was just kind of him done for the day.
I think he went for 5 in his first over, Rob. I think it was the second over when he came on, and he
19 or something.
Yeah, it was a really weird situation. So I mean, I think they need another monster season out of him. But if you're the reigning champs, you come out in this situation and you win this game this comfortably. I think if you're an RCB fan, you're pretty happy. Robbie, if you're a Sunrisers fan at this point, and Liam Livingston is sitting there watching on the bench, and your bowling you basically picked a guy who wasn't even in IPL consideration a week ago as your new ball bowler. You don't give him the new ball either. It was a really weird performance by Sunrisers, all things considered.
Yeah, it's like they've stuck to the same game plan, haven't they, for the last 3 years? And it isn't really coming off. It came off the first year where they got to the finals. But with that kind of a bowling attack, you are going to find it difficult to win championships. And I'm not saying they won't do well through the season. I think their batting will come good. Even today, they batted well. But can they defend a score like that? No. With that bowling attack, it's not saying they have got bad bowlers. I think 2 or 3 of them are pretty good. Like Harshal and Jaydev and Harsh, I think are pretty good. The others really need to find, like, they're not the best. They're not the number 1 picks, right? They're more number 2, number 3, like you've been saying on the lives, on the watch-alongs as well. So they are going to be behind the 8 ball, and their teams are going to come hard against their bowlers. They can be prepared for that, for sure. And I think, which is why I suspect when Hyderabad win the toss, they'll do much better than when they lose the toss.
I mean, the issue is, right, you've got a team who are set up that need to, like I think I said on the live, they needed to score like 15% more than everyone else to win their games. And then they came out and bowled, and I'm now wondering if it's not 20% more. And that puts so much pressure on your batters. But they do have, like, they lost those early wickets, Rob. But actually, when they put partnerships together, you're like, okay, well, it's Ishan Kishan and Klaasen. If they put a partnership on for 10 overs, it doesn't matter if you lose early wickets. They might still score 160 runs in this little session.
Yeah, they've got 7 guys that can hit enormous sixes. And I think Reddy is probably the guy who is now being told he's the firefighter and he has to hold it all together. And it doesn't suit him. He was 1 off 6 today in the power play, and he got out slogging because he was fed up that he was 1 off 5. That doesn't do the team any good. I think they probably need to, because last season he was firefighting the whole season because they were failing at the top of the order, weren't they? And you don't really need somebody scoring a run of ball in that team. I think he slowed it down a bit, but to stop SRH from scoring, you've got to get a 9 down, really. You've got to get all of these big guns out. And if you get, how many teams, you get rid of Head and Abhishek early, and it's like, well, yeah, well, Kishan's smoking it everywhere now, and what are you going to do? And then they get the other guy, and here's Klaasen. And then there's still Verma. And if you get rid of him, you've got Aurora as well, who's like the new Verma. There's loads of 6 hitting, but hitting 6s doesn't win you championships, does it? And if they decided to spend all their money on a guy that they don't even pick, what's his best skill is hitting 6s, right? So what's the point? Get somebody that can bowl, get someone that can take wickets. And it's easy to say, oh, well, Cummins is injured. Everyone knew Cummins was injured for ages. They said before the game, they just slipped it in there, Cast is injured here. So why did they sign him then if he's injured? I didn't know he was injured. No one told us that. There's rumours as to what his injury is and how an England player might get injured in the off-season. But what's going on there? Why
To be
aren't
fair,
they,
he does
aren't they
have.
doing better?
Doesn't he have perpetually dodgy toes as well? Doesn't he have that toe thing where sometimes he can't walk and then the next day he comes in and bowls again? Robbie, if you can't bowl, right, and not every team's going to have great bowling, you do have to field in a particular way. You have to bring the energy in a different way. And today, Robbie, I would say that the Sunrisers fielded as if none of them had limbs.
You know,
Right?
I don't know if I'm the right person to be asking this question to. I think the right person is on the window to the left of you.
The world's leading authority in shit fielding, Rob
Thank you.
Barron. Was
Thank you.
that how bad a fielding was that in your ratio of shit fielding?
Abominable is the word for that fielding. It is, and the thing is, this is game one, right? And after 9 overs of game one, they're stood there looking at the floor with their hands in their pockets. Kishan is letting everything go through him. Like, if they'd have got a dustbin to be the wicketkeeper, they wouldn't have chased those runs so quickly today. And that is a fact, right? Because it would have hit the dustbin instead of going for 4 byes twice, through his legs twice. One of them, he couldn't be bothered to put his knee down or his hands down. And the other one, that span a bit, to be fair, but the other one that went through him, he was moving backwards away from the ball. Like, the ball doesn't hurt you if it hits you in the pads going at 50 miles an hour. It doesn't hurt. So stop getting out of the way of it. But Reddy dropped one, didn't he?
I think Reddy did. I think it was twice in the one over. There was one ball where Reddy was on the boundary and he was running around, and I was watching it going, oh, he's going to cut that off. And then he just ran behind the boundary. And I was like, has he just forgotten where it is? And then 2 seconds later, he dropped the catch in the same spot. It was bizarre, some of the bad fielding.
That's as if you've already finished bottom and there's 2 games to go and you still have to play them, that fielding performance.
Yeah. It felt like end of season, we're done fielding, right? And that's what I mean. If you know your bowling attack isn't very good and it's the first game, surely you get the guys around and be like, this is the one. And they just look defeated from the start. I don't know about you, Robbie. Would you switch Klaasen with Ishan Kishan in the outfield?
Yeah. But that depends on Ishan, right? Can he lead whilst fielding, or is it better for him to keep while he's leading? I don't know how it's going to go, but
yeah, fair point.
It depends on what he finds most comfortable.
But Klaasen dropped one as well. Klaasen dropped one in the deep, and that's Virat Kohli he dropped. And I would have always said before this game that Kishan's a much better wicketkeeper than Klaasen is, but Kishan is definitely a better outfielder than because Klaasen's a donkey in the outfield. Like he was one of the worst for looking at the floor and looking like,
look at Robbie
and made to feel what he is a donkey. Like, and
I want the earth to swallow me up. These are my friends.
This is the Indian Premier League, Robbie. These guys get paid boatloads of money to do this.
Wait, was it Rob or Robbie who called Heinrich Klaasen a donkey? Just so we can be sure when we put out the social media.
Clip that. Clip that, whoever clips it.
So coming in, Mumbai Indians were the favourite for this tournament. I'm just having a look at the odds now. RCB hasn't changed all that much. They've shortened a little bit in their odds, but Sunrisers has obviously gone out quite a bit. I think everything we've seen here shows that there was little weaknesses with RCB, but we could see how they can overcome them. With Sunrisers, we know they can outbat teams, but whether they can do it consistently enough to make it all the way through just looks unlikely at the moment. So, and I don't think I'm just going out there to say I don't think Bryden Cass is the answer.
I mean, if Bryden Cass is the answer, what the hell is the question?
I think we'll leave the podcast there. With Rob Barron, who's very close personal friends with Heinrich Klaasen, with Robbie, who used to be. I'm Jared Kimber. We'll be back again to chat more from this IPL. Please like, subscribe, do all those things. We are doing watch-alongs every day, so we'll be back again tomorrow for more Combox. Combox. The game lives on.